Hi guys, and welcome to this video on the full moon in Taurus that happens on Halloween this year, the 31st of October 2020 at 2:49 in the afternoon, and that's based on London time. Thanks for joining me. It's a pleasure to be with you today. You can see the snapshot of the sky at the moment this full moon happens, and I'm going to have a look at this chart and what it means, what energy is kind of created via these planets up in the sky and the relationships they form with one another, and how that's going to influence all of us down here on planet Earth. I always say that the energy of a full moon is gradual, so it's not just, you know, on the dot, on the 31st, that minute that you actually feel the energy or you're influenced by it. It's a gradual build-up, so the moon is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So the 30th, even the 29th, 30th, 31st, 1st of October, that 1st of November rather, that's when it's reached its full moon moment and it's waning and it's getting smaller. That still influences all of us. So give this a couple of days, a few days where you'll really feel this energy. Now, first of all, the sun is in Scorpio at 8 degrees. 8 is power and it's intensity. The sun is your identity, and it's what you think is good and right and what makes you feel empowered. Okay, so there's a strong sense of self. There's a focus on the self. It's not all what are other people's needs, what do other people want. It's about, I have energy and a body and desires and needs for a reason. How am I going to meet those needs? How am I going to get what I want? Also, Scorpio is a water sign. It's traditionally associated with the 8th house in the astrology chart, and the 8th house is everything from death and institutions, other people, things that are outside of your control. It can be sexual relationships, it can be the taboo and the hidden, you know, the deepest, darkest things in life. And with the sun in Scorpio at 8 degrees, it's powerfully connected with that Scorpio energy. And Scorpio wants to get rid of the facade and the things that are on the surface and the social niceties and la-di-da, and it wants to get to the truth of the matter, because Scorpio is intense. It's not afraid to look at difficult things, because Scorpio has the ability to heal. And on some sort of level, we all realize that we can't move on until we've healed the past. So, I mean, the whole self-help kind of industry is based on the fact that people want to feel better and they find it difficult and need some help. So Scorpio is all about that. It's about saying, you know what, if you want to be the best you can be and if you want to shine, you also have a shadow side which you need to take into account, and you need to kind of engage with it, because by looking at your own shadow and your own unhealed things, you're able to grow as a human being. Sorry, I'm rolling my eyes. Whenever I was younger, I heard, oh, it builds character. If you don't like doing something and you're forced to do it, or you're being forced to do it, builds character, builds character. So it's not an excuse that you should make things difficult for yourself because it builds character and it helps you grow as a person. It just means that you're able to look at the entire package of you without shying away from it. And because you embrace the whole thing, you can really stop being disassociated from yourself, or seeing yourself as the enemy or as other, you know, as someone who's kind of working against you. Because the biggest and best friend you're ever going to make in life is if you are able to forgive yourself for whatever you feel your shortcomings are. If you've done something bad in the past, you committed a crime, or you behaved in a way that wasn't morally up to your values and your usual beliefs, then you're really cutting your power in half. And Scorpio isn't afraid of revisiting things like that, even though they're painful, and saying, okay, this happened. You've got two choices. You can either beat yourself up about it and continue to churn around in the darkness here, or you can say, that's the past, I can't change it, I accept it, I forgive myself, with a view of not doing it again in future. So it's a really positive, powerful, healing energy that you have access to, first of all. Then it hits the moon at 8 degrees in Taurus. And the Scorpio-Taurus axis, I love talking about this, I always talk about it when it comes up. It's the control axis. So Scorpio likes to be in charge emotionally. I face my demons, you know, and I'm growing, and spiritual development. And Taurus is controlling in a physical way. So I pay my own bills. I have a roof over my head. I have someone who I can be intimate with when I want to. It's all the physical needs. And Taurus is very good at meeting its own physical needs. The moon in itself is what gives you a sense of, oh, this is great. This is the energy and the environment that I feel comfortable in. I can kind of roll around in this and have a good time. And the moon in Taurus is very at ease with its own kind of body, circumstances, the way things look. So buying yourself some flowers or decorating the place in Halloween decorations is going to be particularly satisfying because you can get real pleasure out of symbols and the way things look. Remember that Venus, the planet of love and beauty and creativity, rules Taurus. So Taurus is the earthy incarnation of Venus, Aphrodite, and it's love on a physical level, lust, beauty, you know, a secret garden full of beautiful flowers. You have to take control of the physical. Put the seeds in, you watch the flowers grow, beautiful garden, right? So it's kind of method to the madness, or method to creating something beautiful that you're in control of. 8 degrees, same as the sun, because they're 180 degrees away. So it's feeling this ability to really get your hands dirty and to really affect change. Combined with the sun energy, what you feel comfortable doing is acting on your deepest, darkest feelings and doing something about them in a tangible, physical way. And I do a weekly horoscope as well on this channel, where I go through what's happening each day. And I mentioned that this is like the perfect Halloween full moon, because Halloween I associate it with witches and cauldrons and pumpkins and, you know, the nightmare before Christmas and all those good things. It's like a party. It's a great holiday. But the whole occult kind of witchcrafty angle is to do with the pagan festival that it's based on. But also the witchcraft I always associate with taking something you want, so your will, and then writing spells and having ingredients, and then using your words as something powerful to affect change in a real world sense. So you can call them whatever you want. You can call it doing positive affirmations, where you just speak out positive things like life gets better and better, every day is a pleasure and a joy. Or you can write a spell saying I will fall in love with, or my soulmate is going to meet me in the next 2 weeks. And you can make a spell out of that with lavender and pink candles and the whole ritual stuff. And it fits very much with this full moon, because it's exactly that kind of full moon where you can really focus on what you want and what your deepest, darkest desires are without flinching and saying, oh, you know, I don't look a certain way, so this is unlikely to happen. It's really believing in what you want and saying, it doesn't matter if it's difficult or unlikely or whatever other people tell me, this is something I want, so I'm going to make it happen. And that can be very painful, but if you stick with it, sooner or later you will get what you want. And the whole kind of occulty, witchcraft, spiritual side of things is heightened here because you feel in control of the ethers, you know, the energy that is unmanifest. It's like you're able to tap into that naturally via the sun in Scorpio, and you're like, I realize that my voice has power. The way I manifest, if I make a vision board like from The Secret and I say I want this house and this car and this boyfriend, whatever, those things have power. Thoughts are things, words have power, speaking spells, doing affirmations, all of those things are really, really supported here by this full moon on Halloween. So, you know, if you're going to a seance as a joke, or not as a joke, or if you're meeting a couple of friends and you're dressing up or something, and you are like-minded, and you think, hey, this spiritual stuff, there's something to it, then you might as well look into it in earnest. It's really likely that you're able to get something, like a response from the universe. You know, like when you're praying and you're like, God, give me a sign, please, if this is the right thing. And because you're looking for it, well, you could say chicken or egg, right? Which comes first? Is it because you're looking for a sign that you actually see signs? Or is it because you're really being given one? And it really doesn't matter at the end of the day. As long as it feels right and it gives you a confirmation on your path, then that's what's right for you. Now, what's really interesting is that we've got Uranus sitting on top of this full moon, also smack on top of it at 8 degrees in Taurus. Uranus is an outer planet, so it doesn't move very much. So the fact that the moon picked this degree out of 365 degrees to sit right on top of Uranus in the same sign of Taurus at 8 degrees, means that not only is your ability to manifest heightened, but it's heightened to the extent where you can affect real chaos and major change. So you can uproot your whole life. So that means I have the idea that, I don't know, I have seasonal allergies. So I want to move from Louisiana to Colorado because the climate is easier. And that's a desire. And Halloween comes around and suddenly, boom, it feels like something is hit and it's like, oh, this is all I can think about. And it comes to the surface, it's almost like an intrusive thought saying, move to Colorado, as an example, you know. And with that kind of thing, you can't really do much about it. That's something, once the train has left the station, it's gone. And that's kind of spirit sometimes intervening in your life and saying, hey, this person is trying, they're doing everything they can, but they're not getting unstuck. They're just like going through the motions. And that's, in my experience, when this kind of thing happens, the universe just really grabs you and says, okay, here we go. We're going to plant this desire so hugely in this person's head that they have to do something about it. So you may find that you make this, that you have this huge emotional experience which says, okay, you've got to act now. It's super, super urgent. Now, whenever urgent comes in, my alarm bells go off because the ego does things urgently. Okay, it says, go there quickly, otherwise you'll miss the deal, and then you end up with a real dud, you know? Mercury, the communication planet, is in retrograde, so that's another red flag alarm bell. Because the communication planet, when it appears to be going backwards, communication can get stifled and a little bit iffy. That's a technical term. Yeah, you may take things the wrong way, or you may get the wrong end of the stick just because Mercury is in retrograde. Traditionally, it's associated with, you know, faxes not arriving and emails and phones and computers not working, all that stuff. But that's a red flag. So Mars is also in retrograde, the planet of desire and drive. So that appears to be going backward. So anything that is completely going to change your life because you take action, I would hold off a little bit. What I would do is I would focus on what you want to manifest and what you've wanted to manifest for a while. So to harness the chaos by adding structure and form to it and saying, this is my vision board and this is what I want to create. If you don't know what I'm talking about with that, it's the law of attraction. Look up things like Abraham Hicks, The Secret. It's just a belief system that what we think we can manifest. And I often say that they're missing out steps, because you don't just imagine a check for $1 million coming through your door and then suddenly it happens, right? You imagine the check coming through your door, then you have to listen to the guidance you get from the universe that says, okay, do this job, which then leads to the $1 million check coming through the door. So this is a great time to really dwell on what it is you want to manifest instead of rushing off and doing it. Because with the personal planets in retrograde, and I'll have a look at what the rest of the chart is doing, but it's not a good sign, and the urgent thing raises flags, red flags for me anyway. So manifestation, planning out what it is you want, and instead of going and quitting your job and walking out and having a huge sense of satisfaction, writing out what it is you want in your career, for instance, in your future, or what you want to create financially for yourself. Much better idea than acting impulsively. Because remember, Uranus is chaos, and that's a little bit more difficult to control than anything, really. We've also got Black Moon Lilith, 7 degrees away from the moon. Black Moon Lilith is the part of the chart where the ego tries to do a number on you, and it's at 1 degree. 1 is the magician. It's about you take charge, you're the pioneer, you're in control. If you want it done, you have to do it yourself. And it's in Taurus, so it's you have to take control of everything. So that's another way the ego is saying, oh, this has to be done urgently, and only you can do it. You're not replaceable. And that's not true. Everyone's replaceable. And if anything is kind of coming at you like that, you have to do it straight away, and only you can do it, then you know you're on a kind of faulty path here, because it just sounds, if it quacks like a duck and if it moves like a duck, it's a duck. And this sounds like the ego, urgent, you'll lose out, urgent, urgent, urgent. Because it's saying all those things, it's the potential liability of the day. So try not to be as impulsive as you usually are. try not to feel cornered and say, oh, my pride's at stake, I have to take control of this and do something about it. That kind of thinking is going to land you in hot water. Yeah, so let's see what other relationships this forms. Okay, so we've got the moon. It forms a trine, so it's 120 degrees away from the part of fortune at 12 degrees in Virgo, next to the descendant, also 12 degrees in Virgo. Not every astrologer is going to put the part of fortune in the chart. It's an Arabic part. It's a construct between the sun and the moon. So I use it because it shows the area that that comes most easily and that serves you the most. 1 and 2 is 3. 3 is communication and new beginnings. Virgo is the nurse. It's the data entry person. It's the person sitting in the court recording everything. That's Virgo. And at 3 degrees at 3 degrees, 1 and 2 being 3, it means that communication is something that you're super tuned into. That's why earlier, this unmanifest realm, you have total access to it because you're spiritually connected. So because you're so connected and you have access to everything, you can really decode things. So ask the universe for a sign and you'll see something that you can make sense of. Universe, what should I be manifesting? What is it that I need to focus on in future? Bing! Okay, you put it on your vision board or an affirmation. You're really working with a lot, and there's no way, ooh, I'm getting this, it's kind of guaranteed, and there's no way that you're going to miss your message. So if you're like, universe, give me a sign, and you don't get anything, then it's like, first of all, that's not going to happen. And if you feel like you're not getting anything, then just say, I'm not hearing this. Can you make it a bit clearer for me? Make it clearer. Until you get something, because with that part of fortune in Virgo, you're not going to miss the message. You're going to get the memo. Whatever you're questioning, what should I manifest in future? Or what should I let go of in the now and work with the universe to create in future? What should I transform in my life? You'll get loads of messages about that. So that's super positive. The moon then also creates a sesqui square, so it's 135 degrees away from the south node at 22 degrees in Sagittarius on the midheaven, 23 degrees in Sagittarius. Okay, so the south node at 22 degrees in Sag really allows you to look back on what you've created in your life, and it shows you where you've been lucky and where you've been not so lucky, and where you've kind of stumbled into situations and just lucked out, dumb luck, and where really the odds were against you and you took a misstep because things just didn't work out, and the situation you've created for yourself right now. So it gives you this amazing kind of insights into, oh my God, I am the master of the universe. I create my life. Because I have this way of thinking and seeing the world, that's why I manifest it in my life. It's amazing because the part of fortune is in Virgo, and that means you don't miss a trick here. You get all the information and you're able to make sense of it. With the south node in Sag, you really have this amazing perspective of what you've created in your life, and you take responsibility. And if you're trying to manifest things, the first thing you've got to do is take responsibility, because it's, my words have power. So if you're constantly swearing and road raging, you're going to create angry situations in your life. And realizing that takes accountability and just owning it, and some people can't do that. So if you struggle with that, you're going to find that you have a lot you can take ownership of, and each thing you take ownership of, it's like a little accolade for yourself that can build you up and can show you, hey, I can manifest things differently in future. I've been around for a while. I don't need to be like functioning like I'm under duress all the time. I can actually look at how far I've come. That's my personal experience. I understand what I did right and what I didn't. Ding! Eureka, light bulb goes off with this perspective. So I'm going to change that in future. And that kind of insight is really invaluable. I mean, you can't buy that. It's like growing up and understanding that your life has a season and a reason, and there are things when you're up and when you're down, and you are not different from anybody else. You have successes and failures just like everybody. Even if you feel like everything's going wrong, there will be days when you feel better than others. And it just gives you this ownership of your own life. The North Node is at 22 degrees in Gemini, so it opposes it. And that's really asking you to look at your roots and to say, what is it that you want to build? And to look at the future and to say, there are wonderful things to come. And I do have control of the future, in a sense. I can manifest what I want in the future. And the best is yet to come. Because I know myself, I'm not going to repeat the mistakes of the past, and I'm going to manifest these amazing new things. So yeah, I've got a couple of spells as such on my channel, like how to do a love spell, and I did these years ago because I believe in affirmations. I'm not so big on spell casting because it's more about the self-will. So I want Michael to love me, so I'm going to cast a love spell on him. Well, what about Michael and what he wants? You know, it's not really fair. So you can't just bulldoze your way through things like that. And I mean, you may think I'm splitting hairs here, but I don't, because I feel that if something comes in from the universe, oh, do this, or that's a good idea, then I'm working with something bigger that wants me to do something positive, and that feels kind and warm. And by working with that and manifesting that, repeating it and saying, okay, I agree, let's say, become a jockey. I will be a jockey. I'm going to be a jockey, get into horse training or whatever it is. And then you know that you're not willing it as such, and you're not inserting your own ego into the world. You're listening to something bigger from your higher self that's pure and is always going to want the best for you. And you're really working in harmony with a loving, positive force like that, and that manifests the best things in life. That's why I have 444 in all my things, like all my social things. Gregory Scott 444. Taking divinely guided action, listening to it, and then manifesting it in your life. So this can really change the foundation of your life. Okay, the full moon also forms a semi-square. It's 45 degrees away from the North Node in Gemini, 22 degrees. So what you decide to do on this day is going to have major implications for your life. So if it feels urgent and super abrupt and you're like, okay, our marriage is now over because I don't feel like it on this day, it's likely that that is a mistake that will affect your life, as in you can't get that partner back then. You know, sometimes you just say, oh, you know, in the moment I'll say something like, oh, we'll get a divorce. And sometimes it's a joke, and sometimes it's dead serious and it just doesn't go the way you want. This is one of those days where those kind of statements that potentially can have a huge impact on what you've got structured in your life, avoid those. Really do. Because you may not get them back, and there may be an implosion or an explosion. And the good thing, the way to use this energy is to take accountability for your life, where you're at, and to say, I want things in future to be like this. You know, like in the financial people are always talking about a 5-year plan. Where do you see yourself in 5 years and your investments and stuff like that? It may be a little bit arduous to think like that, but in terms of your life, you know, the likelihood that you're going to be around in 5 years is there. So a lot of people are like, oh, I'll never make it to 20 anyway, who cares? And then there are people who overplan, and then there are people who just go through every day. And it's good to be in the present moment and to live there. But to have some sort of idea of where you want to go is also a good idea. So, I mean, 3 to 5 years, you can do a degree. You can build a business. You can move. You can transform your body. You can do a lot of things, but you have to have not so much anxiety that it's like, oh, I can barely get through today. How am I going to plan for the future, you know? So this is a day where you feel in control. That's what I'm trying to say, emotionally and physically. And you know how powerful you are. So by having that moment to say, what do I want to do in future? That's all you need. So take that time, meditate, chant, do a vision board, whatever makes you feel connected. It's going to have a huge influence on your life. Let's see, what else? We've got, yeah, the midheaven and the south node. And that's it as far as the moon's concerned. We've got some other stuff going on in the chart. Venus is direct in Libra, 4 degrees. So that's good in terms of building bridges to a beautiful future. So you'll be able to visualize and work with other people and bounce your ideas off other people in a good way. So other people will support you. The universe will talk to you through other people in many ways. Self-will is the thing to avoid. Chiron at 5 degrees in Aries opposes Venus. So if it's just like, how can I get rich? How can I impose my will on another person by casting a spell or taking certain action. That's the red flag to avoid, because that's going to land you on your face. That's going to hurt. Like, I don't know if you've ever tried doing things just off the self and just obsessing over them and manifesting them, and they have manifested but they're just not right to you. It's more painful than just doing something that's going to work for you anyway. It's that cliche of sometimes we don't know what's right or wrong for us, and that's why obsessing about something and making it happen can often be very destructive. And the easier, better way is to check in with the universe and say, instead of saying, what do I want? What do we want? What do we want to do with this life? Much better. It's going to work every time. Mars in Aries. Yeah, so self-will also a little bit skew with Mars in retrograde. Neptune's at 18 degrees in Pisces. Wow. So Neptune's the water planet. Poseidon, isn't that his son? Yeah, the ruler of the oceans, okay, the unmanifest. Pisces rules, Neptune rules Pisces, so really able to connect with the spiritual. And 18 degrees is 9. 9 is the hermit in the tarot. It's spirituality and completion. So watch your dreams, watch what you feel, watch everything that's unmanifest and that is going on in your inner life. That's more tangible and important than the physical stuff, because you have such power to change the world and your life. We don't have much going on with Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter and Pallas Athena all in Capricorn. They're kind of off to the side. So it's not about work, it's about asking yourself what you want in future and trying to consider other people in that, in the sense of how can you be happy instead of successful? How can you be content instead of rich? You know, all those things that connect you with other people and put you in a better position, rather than how can I grab and take so that I can elevate myself away from. This is how can I get closer to and connect myself with. So it's a really lovely energy that means you'll manifest things wisely, because you know where you've been, you have this amazing perspective, and you're not like this monster just consume, me. It's not about that. It's about how can I live a better life. Amazing. That's fab. Okay, I'm just going to see if there are any major things here, so like grand trines or grand crosses or kites or something. Nope, not really. We've got harmony and friction, so energy and things working your way, so it's perfect. As far as I'm concerned, it's really nicely balanced. Element wise, we've got lots of earth and water, both feminine elements, so it's about being really receptive to practical things like overhearing conversations and friends, and water, which is your feelings and spirituality and your higher self talking to you. And it's then cardinal mode, being able to say, I'm the boss here, at the end of the day I have to manifest things, and it gives you that strength to create things which are tailor-made and custom-made for you, and to validate your own experience and to say, I matter and this is my experience, and that's what's worked for me and that's what hasn't, and that's a fact of life. It's not a matter of opinion, that's my experience. So there we go. So there's nothing like knowing yourself and what works for you to help you plan the future and manifest an amazing future. So this is an amazing Halloween. So important that you try and do something for yourself in a visual way. So if you like to dress up, or if you like to meet people and do something spooky, or yeah, if you like spending time with the kids, or to do candy, or if you do, yeah, the mystical side of things, it's important that you just make some time to connect yourself to something that is not physical, something that is otherworldly. Important. Okay, so that's what I get for you for this full moon at Halloween. If you'd like a personal reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. On the front page, just click on book your readings. You can order your reading with me by doing that. In my personal readings, I'll draw up your birth chart like I have for this full moon. I need your place of birth, date of birth and time of birth. Then I get a snapshot of the sky like the one next to me, and that's going to be like that for life. That's the moment you were born, that's what it looks like, and it tells me everything about you. So your life purpose, vocational aptitudes, your roots, family situation, love, romance, travel, investment, spiritual development, anything at all. If you're questioning, or if you want some guidance, or if you're at a crossroads, you need to make decisions, Get in touch to speak to me about what's going on. I can have a look at your chart and also a look at your progress chart, your transits to see what's coming up in future, astrocartography for locations. So it really shows you everything. It's amazing. If you're interested in looking at your chart, then just get in touch with me via gregoryscott.com. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and share the video online. Have an amazing Halloween and an amazing full moon in Taurus here, and I'll speak to you soon.